like the mock meat for my vegan stir fry. A lot of times I use tofu, but I didn't have tofu. But I had purchased this at Walmart. It's called Unmeat Plant Based. It's not real chicken teriyaki, and these are pretty like I think the flavors honestly are pretty strong. So I like them, but I like to like use them in something that's a little bit more because they're very condensed. So I feel like you could use them like to make stews. I actually used one on Saturday night because I had some noodles left to make like a mock vegan like plant-based chick soup. So I had one and it was pretty good, and I added some like herbs from my mom's garden, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. I liked it. I feel like you can't see it though. You can see me. Peel off my onion. Make the screen look a little more vibrant. Okay. Just setting the scene. Oh no, my fridge is making noises again. I don't really care. Honestly, if you're gonna replace the fridge, well, I think eventually I probably do need to talk to maintenance about that because it's been making some weird noises. But oh well, whatever. It is what it is. Somebody got really upset about that the other day. Oh no, my washing machine was making noise in the background. I'm like, okay, but this is the kind of channel I am. I'm like a home-based channel. I'm a homey channel. Like, I do things at home. I love being a homebody. That's a big part of my content, okay? So if I post a video on an air fryer and it's not like perfectly quiet to the kind of degree you want, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna talk because, you know, that's fine. For me, this is what I like to do. And I feel like people would be happier in life if they just knew what made them happy. So, and the video also, it was from 2 years ago. And like, I have my dryer going right now. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I'm like, come on guys. Being upset because there's a dryer making noise in the background on the video. I don't get that. It's like these people, like, they always apologize. They're like, oh, there's like noise in the background. I'm like, noise in the background has never bothered me. I've always actually loved it to be honest. Like, I like ambiance. I like hearing sounds, and I don't think everything has to be like a sound stage. But I guess some people like sounds like bother them, so, but I'm not one. So I guess for me, sounds are fine. I also had a guy that told me that I was Amish. And when I told him, oh, I'm not actually Amish, he insisted that my cup was Amish. This is hilarious. The cup that I was drinking coffee from in that video, I think I bought at Home Goods. I don't think a lot of Amish people are shopping for pink Christmas mugs at Home Goods. It was very random. But he was very insistent that I was Amish. So, you know, and I was talking to a friend about this, and my friend was like, oh yeah, because, you know, Amish people just love to, like, go on social media and use technology. I'm like, not really. Like, Amish people will use a little bit of social media and technology for their businesses, but they're not going to be on YouTube. It was kind of funny. Unless the new young Gen Z, maybe Gen Z Amish people are doing something different. But I've studied about the Amish. They tend to not even want to finish high school in general because they want to work in their family businesses. Maybe that's changing a little bit now, but up until the 90s, a lot of them didn't even go to high school. And I read a book about some people that actually left the Amish because they wanted to get their high school education. And I remember this one girl said that her family, like, burned her books, okay? Which is very horrifying because they didn't want her to go to school beyond the 8th grade, and they go to schools within their community. They're very closed off, and they speak like German, which I don't. So I don't know how I can be Amish if I don't speak German. Like, just all these underlying factors. So I was just really trying to, but I don't know if he was just a silly sauce applesauce one, but I don't know. There's always some interesting people in those chats. They get really they get very particular and a little zany sometimes. Oh, and then, like, last night there was one, and I'm pretty sure this was a joker. Like, he was asking me how he can make his wife and his mistress and his girlfriend all happy, and I'm like, first off, I think you're a troll. I'm pretty sure you're a troll, because if you were some, like, Casanova dude, what would you be doing on YouTube Live if you had a wife, a girlfriend, and a mistress? Like, if you had all three of those, like, wouldn't you be kind of busy, like, juggling that? Plus, I told him I'm an introvert. I don't know about that kind of stuff. I'd probably tell them that they should get a boyfriend, a husband, and a mistress. Because he likes to juggle stuff. But I was like, what? Some of the comments are just, they're out there, friends. Like, why? Why are people, like, what is going on? I'm convinced they're just people with a lot of free time on their hands that like to make funny comments in their lives. I'm just like, okay, you guys have fun doing your interesting thing. Don't get it, but maybe I'm not supposed to understand everything that they do. Who knows? I think onions always makes me cry. Oh, what else? Oh, yes, there was this guy that assumed I was gonna, like, want to message him, and then I said, oh, you can message me on Instagram if you want, but I didn't guarantee I was gonna, like, even answer him back, so he waited 24 hours from the Netherlands, okay, this stuff is getting crazy, to tell me that I was phony because I didn't message him. Like, what? There's some weird stuff here. It's very weird. Well, I know. So no, I don't want to message randoms. Like, some very strange behaviors on social media, friends. Like, And then, you know, I like to see a lot of lives. There's a lot of interesting lives, but I'm kind of confused by some of the lives people are posting. Like, some people are posting lives where they're just sleeping. And I would think that's not a good idea because I saw some of the comments on one of those lives and it's kind of concerning, but I was like, I guess they kind of know that they, and then, okay, another thing too that I guess that I'm not a fan of, because I believe in telling the truth at all times. I believe in being a truthful person and a truth seeker. So I actually liked this person's content. I thought it was really good. And I do not believe in telling tall tales. God knows when you lie. Don't make up stories on the internet. Not cute. Not Demir, not mindful. So anyway, so this lady, her content seemed really good, and she's talking about how she's cleaning up after guests that stayed in her Airbnb. But then at the end she said, oh, but I might tell like some exaggerated stories and one might be true and you'll have to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I guess people are doing stuff like that nowadays to get attention. But to me, when YouTube first came out, it wasn't like that. People were just having fun. And I was talking with my other friend the other day about this. Like, just posting things that they liked. They weren't making up stories, posting rage bait, going... I feel like we can still have fun on this app. Because on TikTok, people don't really do that. Like, that is one of the benefits, actually. Because I've gone to TikTok lives, and TikTok's a little bit stricter. And people in TikTok comments, like, some of the things that people think fly on Facebook comments, they don't fly in the TikTok. TikTok does not like that. So I had to start being a little bit more strict. Like, when I went live a couple times, I'm like, no, not okay. You guys need to, like, grow up or not. I don't know, unless it's just a whole bunch of frat boys sitting at a computer just having a laugh. Or not a computer, iPhone, you know. It is 2025, although I still use a computer to do a lot of things. You know, I still like seeing things on the big screen, although I can't really afford it right now because I'm trying to save money. But I'm thinking eventually I want to get a new monitor for my computer. Put all the onions in there. Like, eventually I would like to get a new monitor for my computer, so I'm going to start sauteing my onions. I made a whole bunch of rice. Like, I literally made a big pan of white rice that'll last me days because I want to make stir fry. So I'm going to get a little bit of olive oil and just start caramelizing my onions. So I have this just Kroger olive oil, because I've been cooking with olive oil lately. That's what I want to cook with. I want to cook with olive oil. I like Mediterranean vibes. You know, I like to actually do stir fries with sesame oil too, but I'm just at the point in my life, I just want to cook with olive oil only. I don't use a lot of oil, but when I do use oil, I want to use olive oil, you know? That's what I want to use. Onions are going to start kind of caramelizing. Caramelize, and we're going to cut up our bell pepper. And also, I'm trying to eat down the cabinets and whatnot. So I had a can of green beans that I'm going to use. Because I love the idea. Because I said this year I was going to be better. Because I know it's good to have a stockpile of food. It is. Don't get me wrong. But eventually, you need to eat the food that's in your cabinets. So, and I've had some of it for a while. I've been meaning. Like, I just acquire it. I don't always buy canned food, but people will give it to me. Like, my sister had some. They're like, oh, we don't eat vegetables. Here you go. I'm like, okay, why don't you eat vegetables? We don't eat vegetables, they say. I'm like, okay. So here I go. And, you know, my parents eat a lot of vegetables. I eat vegetables, but for some reason, I don't know. Neither of my sisters eat a lot of vegetables. Like, they eat some, but they're just kind of picky. They're picky. I don't know. I've tried. But they don't, like, I think my one sister, she'll eat salad sometimes. But I love vegetables. And I know that I've kind of fallen off my vegetable game for a while. Like, I used to make so many stir fries and salads. And I don't have good excuses. Life just got busy sometimes. And I hadn't been. But I still, even though I don't, I've been making salads, like, at work. I still eat vegetables, but I haven't been, like, meal prepping them the way that I should. Like, I used to just be really good at making, like, giant salads and things like that, you know. And then the big pan of white rice is so good because you can mix it with the rice and just like make the meal a little bit more hearty. I love doing that with lentils and rice too. So it really is good to meal prep. I just like to talk about different things I read and observe. So another person was saying too on social media that somebody must be rich if they made candy out of oranges, because there's no way that somebody would be making candy out of oranges. But they have to be a rich person. I'm like, not necessarily. I don't think somebody's necessarily rich if they're making candy out of oranges, because a lot of people might live in a suburban area, in a rural area. Maybe they have a yard. And it used to be up until recently. I mean, now I guess things are different, that people live in more urban areas. But in the past, a lot of people lived in rural areas. And actually, you were considered poor to have, like, chickens. And I don't eat eggs personally, but to have eggs and to raise little chickens and to raise produce. And that used to be considered, like, not poor, but, like, people kind of used to consider that as being, like, not well-to-do. But it's interesting. I think things have changed, especially in this economy. It's like having access to land and fruit that you can grow fresh, and maybe, I don't know, eggs, like, it's kind of a flex. It's just interesting, like, how culture, this is a cultural shift, really, a big cultural shift, but a lot of it's due to the avian flu, and that's why there's an egg shortage right now. And people make up a lot of reasons why. I don't eat eggs. I'm vegan, okay? I don't eat eggs. So what is my thought on eating eggs? Why? I don't want to, you know? I have no desire to eat eggs. Do I think that it's, like, personally, yeah, I don't tell people, like, I've always been the kind of plant-based vegan person. I don't tell people what to eat or what they should buy. But one reason that I didn't like eggs was, first off, I don't like the way they taste. I just don't. But also, yeah, they don't treat, like, the little male chicks in the egg industry. They do kill a lot of them, and that's true. But I've never been one that goes out and I tell other people, this is what you should be eating. Like, a lot of the hardcore vegans, like, they did that a few years ago, but a lot of them now are paleo. And I find that interesting. Like, I feel like the more stern you are about something, like anything, you'll probably end up being the exact polar opposite. But I think, like, okay, so I always thought it was strange. Like, some of them used to go to steak houses and they would protest people eating steak. But these same people, they're eating, like, they're eating steak now. Some of the ones that did that, okay? And I don't understand, how can you go from that to that? Like, I love to be plant-based for myself. I like to be vegan for myself, but I'm not doing it because I want to go to, like, tell people what they should eat. I just personally think being plant-based is amazing. Like, it's worked out for me. It's been great for me. My mom's vegetarian. I'm vegan mostly. Today I saw something on TikTok, though, so I finally did say something. I don't always talk about things like this, but I did say something to this one person. So this guy was saying that this lady was just inhumane to put lobster in the air fryer because boiling them was more humane. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. they're still feeling pain when you boil them, like a lot of pain. And then I just commented, like, any kind of meat. So some people that ate meat were acting more virtuous than other people, saying that they prepared the meat correctly and that they didn't feel pain. But let's be truthful. Like, yeah, they do feel pain. So that's why a lot of the things, like, okay, like the people that said they voted for, Cooey because of eggs, like, I cannot relate to you because I don't eat eggs, and I don't even think you have to eat eggs. And then the people that said that you needed eggs for protein, that's not true. Like, I don't want to gatekeep tofu, but I'm like, I don't know. They wouldn't like tofu anyway, so it's funny. Like, I don't even need to gatekeep it. And to be honest with you, I just want to be plant-based for me, and because it makes me feel healthy. I never consider that everybody wants to be like a certain thing. I say, you know what? They probably don't. And let them not be. Because it gives us more variety, So I'm not trying to convince other people that they need to go vegan. I just personally feel like eating plant-based is amazing. It's worked out so well for me. It works out for a lot of us. And I think that's just like the best way forward. Like, you don't have to eat meat. Like, I've had a lot of people tell me, oh my gosh, you don't eat meat. Like, how do you not eat meat? And I'm like, easily, I've never ate meat. And so this has always been my approach. Like, I just do it my way. I don't do it like, it just always seemed like too, like a lot of, like when vegan YouTube was a real big thing, people were doing it to get attention. I felt like, even though they were saying that they were activists, a lot of the ones, especially now that are now omnivores or paleo, I always felt like it was to get views, to get attention. And I'm not trying to say that they didn't have their heart in the right place, but the fact that they're not vegan anymore, I just don't understand, like, how can you make such a, because this is my thing, like, if you are, like, legitimately, like, oh, I ate this way, and like, I realized it wasn't good for me. I get that. But a lot of these people, they were on YouTube in 2016 telling people that ate meat that, oh, they need to eat this and that. And, like, being plant-based is, like, the best lifestyle ever. And a lot of them were promoting a really unhealthy plant-based lifestyle where they were, like, no oil, no fat. And all they wanted was carbs, like just carbs. That's it. Like no oil, no fat. They didn't, like it was kind of extreme. Like some of them no garlic. And I just, like, I don't advocate any of those extreme forms of like any diet because I love oil. I like hummus. It's one of my favorite things. And there was one guy that was actually saying that you could make a better hummus without tahini. And I said, well, then it's not Middle Eastern. And I'm part Syrian Lebanese. So I'm going to tell you that's not authentic hummus. You cannot make authentic hummus without tahini and without a little bit of oil. And when you make it yourself, it's better. Well, actually, sometimes when I make my own tahini, I would just use tahini. I made my own hummus. I just used tahini. I didn't always put oil in that. But, I digress. But yeah, it just, people are funny. Like, they have very strong opinions, and you find out very quickly, like, the people that were just very hardcore about something, they were probably just doing it for views. So I feel like today, even today, people are still doing that right now. Like, a lot of the things you see where people are saying, oh, I lie, or it's okay to tell a tall tale, it's not okay. Like, I feel like you should be very serious about anything that you do in life. And here's another thing that, I mean, there's a time for comedy. There's a time for being fun. I love being silly sometimes. But one of the most damaging, I would say, expressions that's starting to, like, that we're starting to see on this app saying it's not that serious. You know what? That's not okay. It's not okay. Because I think that people are going to use that as, an excuse to just like try and invalidate people, and I just know it's not okay. So I feel like you need to be very truthful and mindful about what you're doing. So I don't want to force anybody to be a vegan. It was never my goal. I just, I became, in my 30s, I was like, I don't want to eat meat anymore. I don't want to eat meat. I don't want to eat meat at all. Like, I changed my mind. Like, growing up, I was semi-vegetarian. My mom was actually vegetarian. She never wanted us to eat meat of any kind. My mom had tried being vegan for 5 years, but she says it was very difficult for her. She's not like vegan now, but she'll occasionally eat eggs. But now I would say beyond that, occasionally sometimes eating eggs. She uses a lot of like plant-based products, you know. And my mom was always the one, like, when we went out for pizza, she goes, she didn't like pepperoni on pizza. Like, usually we would cook at home, but my mom, like, she was the one that had that conversation. And then people always say, oh, if you grew up in the country, you're going to eat meat. And I knew that wasn't true because my mom grew up in the country. And I just knew there are people that grow up on, like, my mom didn't grow up on a farm, but they had, like, she grew up in rural Kansas. They had land, and they had to sell chickens, and they had to slaughter chickens as kids. Like, back in the days, life was, like, if you lived in a rural area, life was not easy. Like, you had a lot of chores. There were a lot of things you had to do. And, yeah, it was kind of child labor. Like, but back then, you had to do it. You didn't have a choice. But, yeah, so they had to slaughter chickens to sell to the neighbors to make money. That was one of their, like, chores, animal husbandry things that they had to do, like, every day after school. And my mom was just like, it made her feel sick to her stomach. She didn't like the fact of eating meat. Like, it was hurting her heart. So she grew up eating meat. She grew up slaughtering the chickens, and she said it made her feel bad for the chickens. Like, she didn't like to see what they were going through. And that experience with my mom in 1960s rural Kansas is what made her vegetarian for life. Like, it completely, my mom, she might be vegetarian, not vegan, but of everybody I know, she has been the most, like, dedicated to just being plant-based. Like, vegetarian mostly, but much more plant-based than, like, the people that make a big deal about it, a big fuss. My mom is very introverted. And she doesn't push this belief on others. And I think being vegetarian has been very good for her health. Because, you know, I think she's fared much better than other people that she's related to or her age due to her lifestyle. My mom always believed in healthy eating. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruit. It was always very important. And that's why I'm telling my sisters, you guys need to eat bell pepper. Like, you literally need to eat some raw bell pepper. It makes you feel better. Because I was noticing, like, I still eat vegetables and fruit, but I was noticing I haven't eaten enough lately. But when I start eating, like, bell pepper, I feel better. Like, I just feel so much better. I feel really good. Brings you alive, you know? Okay. So, I have that one bell pepper. I kind of want to stir it in. Okay. And then I have the last one that I want to add in, which is a red bell pepper. This one's really good. I love vegetables. Vegetables are so good for you guys. Do not listen to people that say you don't eat vegetables. I love them. And I always realize I make a big boo-boo by not eating my veggies. You need your veggies to be healthy. You need them. You need them, friends. I don't care what anybody says. You need your veggies. They make you feel better. So yeah, I guess I'm talking a lot about things that we see on the internet, and like the people say that it's not that serious. I don't think that's okay. I think that people are doing that because they want to, I don't know if it's, and I don't think social media is bad. I think we can learn and discuss a lot of things. And I actually, like, when I look at social media, I feel like I'm on a side where I'm always learning and thinking about things. So this is my take on people saying it's not that serious. So when somebody says that, who are they trying to devalue? Who are they trying to It's kind of narcissistic, actually, in a way. I'm not saying everybody who uses that expression is a narcissist, but I feel like there is a little bit of narcissism there, because telling somebody it's not that serious, like, why are they trying to, like, especially like when people talk about their experiences and some people are like, oh, it's not that serious. Why are you trying to marginalize somebody else's, like, and I still see people that are able to, like, talk and have a good conversation, but one thing I do think maybe is missing with social media, maybe, well, definitely actually, is I do feel like maybe 20 years ago, people were a little bit better at having a discussion where people could disagree and they could be friends and they wouldn't say something like, oh, it's not that serious. And by the way, they were funny people. They knew how to joke. They knew how to have a sense of humor. But I think that's just one of the, I think it's okay to critique like certain social media trends. And the one where people say it's not that serious, it is that serious. It could be that serious. You could, like, because look, I just would never tell somebody that, because you're basically, if you don't like something that somebody's doing or you don't agree with their viewpoint, you could just say we don't agree. Or you could share your point and move on. Like, but then again, I'm not going to worry too much about the TikTok trends because they are what they are and they don't always appeal to me, you know. I like some, but not like that. I like to learn things. I like to share knowledge, and you should eat the rainbow, okay? Really good. And I love making stir fries at home. It's so much yummier. It tastes better. It really does. And I forget to do it. Or I haven't been doing it as much as I should be. But we're going to change that. I'm going to start making our stir fries more again. I just had to time myself up to do it. I love how you can... I used to be, like, loving to chop the vegetables really, really tiny. Like, I used to do it super tiny, but I don't always have to... I mean, it's still pretty tiny, but it used to be, like, a hobby of mine to see, like, how tiny I could cut them. I would say the red bell pepper is my favorite. I love red. I think it's the best one. Okay. I think we should go over to the pan. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Oh. So I have my bell pepper. And I'm going to put him in the pan. Now, I'm going to rinse off my fingers just because when you're chopping things, I feel like they get a little sticky. So I like to keep my hands nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? It's good to wash your hands. And yes, you should wash your hands for about 20 seconds. Don't just throw them into the water and then call it a day. You probably need to wash your hands a little bit more, friends. Ooh, I love this. The vegetables are kind of caramelizing and they're cooking together. It's very nice. I'm going to turn it up a little tiny bit because I have this that I'm going to add. The Unmeat. It is 100% plant-based product of the Philippines. I like this stuff. It's pretty good. So Walmart stopped carrying like the Morningstar Farms, which really kind of made us a little sad because like, we're near Loma Linda. And even the one in Loma Linda is not carrying it. Like, okay, so you'll find it at Stater Brothers. But I just noticed in 2025, they're kind of scaling back on a lot of the plant-based things. Although, you know what? You can use tofu. So, I just don't have tofu tonight. Plus, I wanted to try this because it had the teriyaki chicken flavor. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'll put it in there. Get in there, friends. Get in there. I also want to add like a hot sauce packet to it just to give it a little bit of spice. So sometimes if I ever get like Del Taco or something, I keep the sauce packets because like that's just always been something I do. Like I'm not going to waste it. Like it's a sauce packet and I love to use it for seasoning things. Okay, so I'm going to incorporate all of this into the veggies to make my vegetable stir fry. You know, it's mostly liquid though. I don't think I would buy this again because I feel like it's kind of a ripoff because it's not cheap. It's like 30 something. And it's like mostly, it was mostly liquid when I opened it. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy tofu from here on in. I don't think, like, I was kind of excited to try this brand a couple times and I do like it. It's not that I don't like the flavor. I just think for that price, you could have a little bit more vegetable protein in there. Whereas a block of tofu is like, I don't know, maybe $1.50, maybe $2. It's a little bit more reasonable. You still have to add the seasoning to tofu, but I do love tofu. It's very good. Turn up the heat on this. A bit more cooked through. To have the actual frying. Although they call it a stir fry, I don't put a lot of oil in mine, okay? Like some people put tons of oil, but I've noticed like when you get takeout food, like that's one of my complaints. Like I do love, like I love the wok experience. Like they have, I think pretty good Chinese food. It's a little bit less oily than like some of the other places that I've gone to in my city. But I've noticed every time afterwards, it's very, very oily. Like, super oily. I'm like, ugh. Like, I can tell. Like, it's just more oil than what I like to use in cooking. And I'm not anti-oil, believe me. I just talked about that. Like, I love hummus and everything. But I think, like, within reason, like, tahini and hummus is much different than just, like, everything being super oily. So I use a tiny bit of olive oil. And that was the extent of it, okay? I keep sauteing my veggies. Sauteing my veggies down. This makes like a little sauce too. It's like a little gravy you can make. What I do like though about those, I think they're a little overpriced for what they are. Maybe not really, but they're cheaper than eggs. What am I complaining about? Eggs are like $12. You know what? You want to save money? Go buy the plant-based mock meats. You don't need eggs, okay? Buy the tofu. It's okay. You don't have to eat meat every day. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my opinion. And those are my opinions, friends. I don't eat meat. And can you live without meat? Of course you can. Like, once somebody told me, oh my gosh, you don't eat meat. I'm like, oh. And that's the end of the world if you don't eat meat. Like, you don't know how to eat something that's delicious without meat in it. It's a talent, my friends. A giant talent. And if you cultivate the talent, you win the game. Okay. Alrighty, Ruse. Okay. I'm gonna kind of... I think the veggies are pretty cooked. I like them a little raw, but a little cooked. I think that's the cool thing about starting some at the beginning. And see, these things just kind of, they just kind of come together for me. So I'm gonna get a bowl. I'd love to make like my own, it's like my own little rice bowl. And then I'm gonna get some rice. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Turn that off. Okay, you could mix it, but this is the thing I love. It's just like stir-fried veggies with rice. It's very steamy. But this is going to be so much lighter than when you get the takeout version because it doesn't have as much oil. Plus, like some of the vegetables are not completely, like some of them are cooked down, but some of them are still a little bit more on the crispy side. And it gives like a variety of textures. I like a variety of textures in my food, you know? And the rice is just so gentle. It's so fluffy, such fluffy rice. You can make fluffy rice without a rice cooker. I've really perfected it. You have to keep the lid on it, okay? So what you want to do to make fluffy rice, easy peasy. I did 3 cups of rice, 6.5 cups of water, okay? So you want twice as much water, maybe a little bit more than rice, and then you let it get to a boil. And as it's boiling down for a few minutes, then you put the lid on the rice and use a big pan like this so it doesn't overflow. And it did good. This was good. I love it. This is really good. Yummy, yummy. I need to do pineapple fried rice next time. That sounds really good. I love Asian inspired cuisine. I mean, I'm in Southern California, but this is Asian inspired. I'm not claiming to be Asian, but it's Asian stir fried inspired because rice is one of my favorite things. But I am part Syrian Lebanese, and I love majetta, Syrian lentils and rice. And you'll just feel so much healthier when you cook from scratch. Thanks.